Hi, I'm Natalie Jill, fat loss expert turned lifestyle and high performance coach. When odds are stacked against us, how do we shift and create everything from nothing? How do we level up when we aren't feeling it yet or have had a big setback? And how do we adjust quickly when life throws us major curveballs? On this podcast, I do what I do best, taking complicated information that is relevant to us now and breaking it down simply with actionable steps you can implement to level up your own life. I also regularly interview some of the most inspiring and courageous men and women on the planet who at their worst learned how to achieve success greater than they ever dreamed possible, leveling up, creating everything from nothing. If you are new here, I encourage you to go back and listen from episode 1 for the full transformative experience. Originally from Colombia with dreams of being famous and in front of the camera, Ingrid was raised by a mom who was abusive physically and emotionally. Now, Ingrid's forgiven her mom. After all, her mom herself was raped at just the age of 3. Ingrid's youth was far from easy. Abusive upbringing, raped herself at age 14, and then depressed and suicidal. At 19, she had an opportunity to immigrate to America, and she saw this as her ticket to escape. Holding 3 jobs, cleaning, washing dishes, and working in retail, going to college and raising a daughter as a single mom, she still found a way to finish top of her class, but not without constant struggle and hardship. When Hurricane George hit Puerto Rico, she saw an opportunity to move to Miami. Speaking with very little English, daughter in tow, she boarded a plane and headed for Miami. Still paycheck to paycheck, there were so many nights when she went to bed on an empty stomach so she could feed her daughter. When she finally turned to God and surrendered, her now husband Jeff came into her life. Ingrid finally felt like she could breathe. Little did Ingrid know that her true journey was just beginning. There would be a 50-pound weight gain, a deadly asthma diagnosis, and in 2008, a crash where her husband's income disappeared overnight. Ingrid made a promise to God. If you give me an opportunity to live and see my baby grow and to be with my husband, I will give my life to you. She got a clear message that night to focus on her health, and everything else would start to change. Today, Ingrid Macher is the most influential Hispanic in the field of nutrition and healthy living in the United States and Latin America. She is the brain power behind Burn 20. She's a social media phenomenon, and her message reaches more than 70 million women weekly through her Facebook page. She's a businesswoman, a philanthropist, a writer, speaker, cancer survivor, and mother and wife. Her main message is based on serving through her products and services to help millions of Latinos around the world have a healthier and happier lifestyle. Join in today and learn exactly how Ingrid Macher leveled up, creating everything from nothing. Today I've got Ingrid Macher on, and I can't wait for this conversation because Ingrid and I, when I met her, I was like, how in the world have I not known this woman for the first 49 years of my life? Because it was one of those girls that we just instantly had a million things to talk about. And we had so much fun together creating videos. And when I started diving into her brand and what she's created, and I learned about her story, I thought I've got to have her on the show because her story is out of this flippin' world. She's got like stories within her stories of how she created the incredible empire that she has grown. Thanks so much for being here today, Ingrid.
I'm so excited to be here. Yay. I feel like I know you forever.
Oh my gosh. That's how I feel about you. And, by the way, she's not a small potato on social media. She has this little Instagram account of 2.5 million people, by the way. And when I was talking to her, I said, I have more people on Facebook is where I usually spend my time. And she goes, oh, that's great. And I learned that she has like 18 million people on Facebook. So she's this just ginormous brand and this force to be reckoned with. If you follow any fitness pages at all, you've probably seen her stuff pop up in yours. So Ingrid, take us back, because how did you even build what you have today? And was this a goal of yours? Like, how did this even start?
I am from Colombia, and I'm going to take you on a little story before I can talk about my success and all the roadblocks I've been passing in my life. But when I was little, I remember watching this movie. It's this Mexican movie called La Mochila Azul. It's like the blue backpack. Mm-hmm. And it was a girl in the movie that she wanted to be an actress, and she practiced every day in front of the mirror. She was making faces, you know? So I remember my sister and I were scared to go to that movie. We went without permission for our mother. So when we came home, our mother, he was super mad. But I did not care. I was like, it's okay, the punishment, because for that movie, I took one lesson. And it was looking to myself into a mirror because I wanted to be famous when I grew up. I wanted to be in front of the camera. I always like, I don't know what I want to be. I want to be a dancer, or I want to be an actress or a presenter, but I want to be in front of the camera. I want to be famous. In my current situation, when I was little, I came from this middle class family. My father left to come to America, to looking for the American dream when I was very young. And, that brings and opens so many doors in my childhood. I was raped when I was 14.
You were raped when you were 14, you just said? Oh my gosh. By someone you knew, or what? How did that even?
It happens like, well, first of all, I was sexual abuse, like, touching and all this stuff by strangers when I was little, because my father left and it was so much opportunity, and this is a normal thing in South America. We think it's not in here, but in there is normal. My mother had a very rough childhood too. So she was kind of like continuing in us. Like she used to like hitting us a lot, and she used to be like very abusive too, mentally and physically. So when I was 13, I had this boyfriend and he was already a man. He was 18. I was 13 and he was 18. Apparently that was normal in our culture, and these days that's not normal, but in our culture that was normal. And this man abused me. And obviously he took advantage that I was a minor, that I was afraid that my parents, they were going to know about this situation. So he kind of used it to constantly having me in a relationship with sexual abuse.
Wow. And I'm assuming, gosh, I can only imagine what that felt like. But when you are receiving abuse from your mom, like physically and emotionally, it's almost like you start normalizing it. That's love. So it makes sense where you would be drawn to a boyfriend that was sort of doing that too.
You know what, Natalie? It was so normal. Some days when my mom don't hit me, I was like, I need to do something wrong.
Wow.
Because I deserve to be hit. That was the point.
Normal. Yeah,
that was the point that I was in my life. And it was sad because when I was younger, I tried to take my life many times. I was never successful, but it was always inside of me a voice. And I think that voice, it came for God. He would try to save me in a very young age, because always I feel like, it's bad, it's dark. I should not be alive, but it's always like that desire to do more, to keep going. It was like, all right, I tried to kill myself, and then I was like, no, that's not the right thing. I should not do this. I was like, I was in this confusion when I was little.
Wow.
But when I was 19, I had an opportunity to immigrate to Puerto Rico. My sister went first, and she found a husband in 3 months, in a 3-month vacation. She did it in Puerto Rico, and that guy that she married had a friend. So I sold my ticket to how to live and escape that life. It wasn't a great life. Many people probably think, oh my God, her parents, they were horrible. She hates them. I love them. You know what? My mom had a terrible life. She did not know better. And, in this situation and living with a father that tried to make a living for us and have to be far away for us, opened the door for so many things that happened that in these days, I appreciate that so much, because it makes me the woman that I am in these days.
I love that you just said that, because it's interesting, because I believe that hurt people. I don't believe that people intentionally try to harm people. I think they're hurt, and that's all they know and they learned. So it doesn't make it right, but they're just acting out on what they've learned. So it sounds like your mom was just doing what she knew, what she learned.
Yeah, my mom, she was raped when she was 3 years old.
3?
And yeah, and the men that raised her actually break her hips. So it left her with like an incapacity for all her life. She wasn't able to walk really well. She was
Oh my
frustrated.
gosh.
Her mother died when she was very young. My grandfather got married with a 14-year-old. It's just so popular
Wow.
story. But, you know, when we look into that story in these days, it's like,
At age, I can't, I can't even believe you just said that. Age 3.
yeah, age
It's
3.
just,
It was terrible for
can
her.
only imagine what that does to somebody. Yeah.
She was not able to speak about to like 15 years ago. It was the first time when she actually come forward and speak to me and tell me the truth. And it makes me understand so many things that why she was so angry with us and why she was acting the way that she was acting to us. Because, you know, that's what she received when she was little. So when I was 19, I found my opportunity to come to America. And, you know, I took it.
You said, no, I'm sorry. I want to make sure I'm following. You said first Puerto Rico. So did you go
Puerto Rico.
first?
Because we call America, Puerto Rico is part of the United
Okay, got it.
States.
So you're not United States. Okay, got it. So Puerto
America.
Rico, America. Okay.
Puerto Rico. And I continue a study. I study communication. And so I enrolled myself to a university. But when I came to America, I was like, or to Puerto Rico, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have the American dream. I'm going to have the house. I'm going to have the car, the golden retriever. And I came to a place that you're not even able to work because you don't have papers. Is you are not legal. You have no opportunities. In Puerto Rico in those times, we're talking about 27 years ago, 28 years ago, in those times, people were very strict. You know, I guess if I would have came to Miami first, the story would have been different because I know many, many people that have been in this country for 20 years and they are still illegals. But I came to Puerto Rico and I guess that was a blessing because it pushed me forward to, you know, get my legal situation right away. So I got married very young. I was 19. I knew in my mind what I wanted. I wanted to stay in this country. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to break, you know, the mold in my family because I'm the first one that went to college in my family. And you know, with that comes sacrifice, not marry the prince, but marry somebody that it was really nice. And we were married for 4 years. Our marriage, it wasn't less. And, you know, as soon as I got my green card, we got divorced. And I was pregnant with Paula, my first daughter. She's 25 years old. So it was a huge challenge to me because I was in college. I had 3 jobs, believe it or not, and I was a single mother. I finished college summa cum laude.
Wow.
And you know what? I was never able to use anything that I studied in college. Why? Because I was a single mother and all those channels of television or agencies for PR, they offered me a job in those times for $8 an hour. And they give you like the time that you go in, but they don't give you the time that you finish. So to me, that wasn't not even an option. I was like, I need to find a living for my daughter and for me. So I was working 3 jobs. I was doing things that I never did in my house. I was like cleaning bathrooms, washing dishes in a pizza place to 5 in the morning. I was like working in a retail stores. I was really good. I work in this department for commission. So I was really good in sales. I think I discovered my first talent in there when I was doing that job because I remember it was a 27-hour job, but I was making more money than anybody in the floor. You know, it was women that work 40 hours and I make bigger salary and then. So
yeah, you were motivated too. You knew you had limited time and you had to make it work.
And when Hurricane George hit Puerto Rico, I had an apartment that it was flooded with water and I had a big problem, but I saw an opportunity.
And what was that?
I say, it's time for me to move to Miami, to Fort Lauderdale, to the real America, to real go conquer the American dream. So I packed whatever it was left, and I came with my daughter in an airplane. I was like, all right, I don't
Did
know
you know where you were going when you got there?
No, I say, I'm going to rent a hotel room, and I'm going to see what's happening. And God has always been so amazing with me, because in that flight, he put a lady, actually we became friends in the flight, and she's like, well, I'm going to my friend's house. He's looking for somebody to take care of the house in Las Olas. And, maybe I can introduce you with him, and maybe you stay there. And I say, please. So that was my first job.
Wow. That's incredible.
So we came, me and Paula, to this big mansion in Las Olas and Fort Lauderdale. It was crazy because, first of all, I gotta tell people, they say, oh, I can't get the job because I don't speak English, or because I don't have the website, or because I don't have the connection. I speak very, very little English. I did 6 classes at school in college, but I was by memory doing all my testing. I did not speak English that much, but I was forced to learn English, and in 3 months I was able to communicate with people. And because of the circumstances of the person that owned this house, he was a very rich, crazy person. He was a nightclub owner here in Miami. So he was bringing so many guests to the house, crazy celebrities, drugs. I was like, it's time for me to leave. So I left the house 6 months after I came here. And I asked that man, is he can give me a job in one of his nightclubs. So I say, I don't care. I have to watch, I have to watch bathroom, I have to clean bathrooms, so I have to do whatever it takes, but I can't live in this house. And he gave me my first opportunity to work in this nightclub industry. I stayed there for almost 7 years. One of the hardest times of my life, because when you are a single mother in Miami in the 90s, it wasn't easy. In the 2000s, it wasn't easy. It was all about being skinny. It was all about being beautiful. It was all about the drugs, the alcohol. It was all about to make a living. And as a Latina, it was harder.
I would imagine it would be, there's a whole nother set of things. Like, you're in a new country, basically, a new place. Your English is just starting to get a lot better. You are a mom. You're leaving your kid. I'm assuming you have to trust who you're leaving your kid with, even. So that's a whole nother set of things I would assume you were worried about.
I actually bring one of my cousins for Colombia, and I have to work double because I gotta support her and my little girl. But Natalie, I was at this point in my life that I did not care how much I have to work in order to produce.
You were committed.
Make the money for have my daughter with a great life. Wow. Because I did not want her to suffer or passing anything that I passed when I was little. And I live a comfortable life, a middle-class life, but with so much stuff going on, I did not want it for her to go through what I went through, be, molested, be doing, all these things happened to me. So sometimes I had great weekends. Sometimes I have weeks that I don't produce that much money, that I remember going to bed 2 or 3 nights in a row with an empty stomach to give her food, to pay the rent. And in that time, because of my job, I have to go and pass. I think many people, in these days are more vulnerable to talk about this, but I have to drink because I was a waiter. I was a bartender. I had to have alcohol. I sometimes have to have drugs too.
They're expecting you to do that at the night.
Yeah, in order to get more money, in order to stay up, because I start working at 6 p.m. and finish at 7 a.m. sometimes. It was long hours of work, and I worked 6 days a week. So it was a really hard time in my life. And I remember in those times asking God, for a man. I was like, I had a boyfriend in that time. He was a lawyer. He was really good, but he did not want to marry me. He did not want to have anything to do with my daughter. He did not want to help me with anything.
He wanted to have fun with you, but he didn't.
Party and travel, and that's it. So I was saying, God, seriously, you need to send me an angel. And God is beautiful. He's always been loving me so much, because I always, when I talk about this part of my life, it's so exciting because people can see in my eyes how happy I was, because I was like, send me an angel, and God, he was like over delivery to me.
So what happened? Who did he send you?
He sent me Jeff.
And what happened there?
Sent me this beautiful American man, blue eyes, blonde, younger than me, 4 years younger than me, never been married, single. And we know we were for each other. And he, after 1 month dating, he asked me to move with him. He said, I don't want you to work anymore. Let me see your financials. Let me see your bills. And he paid for everything.
So what did that feel like to you? Because, I think this is such an incredible story. And I know where this journey's going. So I can't wait to ask you about that, because this audience is going to flip when you hear the other part of her story here that's coming up. But what did that feel like as somebody that's like, you're working so hard, you're sacrificing so much, like go, just to give your daughter this better life, just to survive. What did that feel like, that now there's like someone taking care of you? Did it feel like you could breathe, or were you having a hard time with that?
Oh, I was like grateful. I feel like finally I can breathe. I am a giver and I'm a good receiver. I know how to receive. I know people, they are givers. Mm-hmm. They don't know how to receive. And they are skeptical to, nobody pays my bill. Mm-hmm. I can't do this. No, I am an opposite. I am a good giver, and I let myself receive always.
You do that. I have not known you that long, but you're so that. So Ingrid was raising money for a charity that I'll ask you about in a little bit. And I donated money, and she left me this message. I was just like, I can't even believe she just left me this message. It wasn't just like, thank you for donating. It was like, she left me a voice note. Like, I pray to God every day, and I say, thank you for bringing Natalie into my life. And I'm so grateful I met you. And it was just like this complete, I couldn't even believe I got this message from you. I'm like, that is amazing. You are a good receiver. It was incredible.
Yes. So he proposed me to get married 3 months after that. I was like, yes, this is it. This is the end of all these things that I've been living for a long time. And we started a beautiful relationship, and we got married after a year in Las Vegas. I tried to get Jeff to get married before the wedding and the dress, and he's like, no. I was like, let's go to the chapel with Elvis. And he's like, no, we have to get married in the church. I was like, oh my God, I even have to put the dress and, the bridesmaids and all that stuff. But we got married, and when you are in love, I always say, when you are in love, you get fat. I got really fat after I got in love. I was happy. I gained more than 50 pounds. I feel like I was a Barbie. I feel like I was the most beautiful woman in the world. I had this man that loved me, that gives me everything. You know what he did for my 36th birthday? He gave me a card, like it was my double Sweet 16, he called it, right? And he put a bow tie, and he gave me the party. It's like crazy. I'm like, this is great. This is like amazing stuff. So, but with that happiness and when gaining weight and marrying the man of my life, it comes something very, very, very sad. I think it was the first episode in my life that really make me wake up. And is when I was pregnant with Mia, I was 7 months pregnant, I started to develop asthma. Asthma is a disease. It's a sickness that many, many kids in the world has. And it kills a lot because it's very silent, and it comes for allergies directly to several foods, right? And is this American man married these Colombian women that never used to eat cheeseburgers or any of this crap in here in America, like cereal and milk and all that stuff. And I started develop asthma. And when I was 7 months pregnant, this is Christmas Day. This is a Christmas night. My husband went with his family and took Paula with him. And I said, don't worry, I stay with my mother in my house in Las Vegas. And I started having an asthma attack in the middle of the night. This is 12 p.m. I start losing my breathing. I couldn't breathe. I start coughing. It was this horrible asthma attack. And that night, Natalie, I feel the God told me, you are going to die. And I was like questioning him. I said, why are you saving me so much? Why you taking me for my darkest moments in life when I was doing drugs, when I feel the life it wasn't good enough, and now you're gonna let me die when I just start being happy?
Wow.
Please. I was begging God, say, God, give me just at least a day so I can say goodbye to my husband and to my oldest daughter. It was one of those days that you try to call somebody and the phone doesn't work and you can get through. And finally at 3 a.m, I got Jeff on the phone and I say, I think I'm going to die. I need you to come home.
Wow.
And he took the first airplane. And when he came home, I was like purple. He took me to the emergency room. He thought that I was dead.
Wow.
They say I had no pulse, and they start all this, revive situation, and I came back alive.
Oh,
it was crazy. It was the craziest Christmas of my life. And I remember, like many people, when they had these situations, they made so many promises to God. But when you had money, when you have everything, you keep the promise for a little bit, and then when you see yourself good, you go back again to your old life. And you know what? We have a great God because he doesn't forget the mission that he gave us in life. And I guess the mission that he has for me, it was not to be this overweight woman, sick and, looking for survive every single day. He had a different mission for me. So in 2008, when everybody lose everything, overnight, my husband received a phone call. I remember it was 60-second phone call that say, you lose everything.
How did he, what, I know what was happening in the economy and with the housing market in 2008. What was he doing that happened to him?
He had an affiliate program where they do a lot of credit card processing. And since people, it was start using the credit cards crazy, and I remember in those times, you pass your credit cards and the credit cards going through. So I believe the banks got really scared because everybody's going bankruptcy. So they start holding the funds for everything, for every business. And we had a real estate too. So we just bought this brand new home. We built this home in Las Vegas, $2 million home. We decorated. We just moved to the house and he received that news. And it was like, what are we going to do now? Right? And I just look in and I say, I see his face. He's getting really devastated because he's never been working for anyone. He's always been a business owner. And I look it through his face and I look it through my kids. I remember it was January 1st and I was starting to have an asthma attack. And I look at their face so worried because they thought, we don't want to lose you, We know you can die for asthma. And in that day, I went to the floor. I went on my knees and I say to God, I surrendered. I can't do this anymore. I've been trying to do this on my own and I can't. I need your help. Tell me what to do. And I made a promise to God. I went in agreement with him. And I say, if you give me an opportunity to live, to see my children grow, to see them getting married, to enjoy this beautiful man that I love, that Paul can build whatever you have designed for us, I will do whatever you ask me to do. And in that moment, I did not know what was the mission. I don't know if he wants me to be a firewoman or he wants me to, I don't know. The last thing I was thinking in my mind is that I was going to be in fitness or nutrition. But I remember clearly that day I understood that I needed to recover my health, that I needed to put a priority in my life.
So you got a clear message that was your opportunity, because you were asking for an opportunity, and then you get this clear message that I've got to focus on my health.
And that's what I did. I went for, in the beginning, I was like, I don't know how to start. You know, I wish it could be a Natalie Jill in those times and the internet so that you can go, you know, an Ingrid Macher or Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. I was like, I don't know how to start. I tried everything. I tried the pineapple diet, the soup diet, the love yourself diet for fasting. I tried everything and nothing worked. And I just say, please, God, tell me what to do. Show me how to do it. And I remember my dad, he turned himself into Christian like 5 years before that. And he was trying to convince me for a long time. You need to come to Jesus. You need to come to Jesus. Jesus is waiting for you. I'm like, yeah, why you raise me Catholic? Now you want me to be Christian? No. And I remember he sent me this book for Joel Osteen, Your Best Life Now. And I took the book. I don't know why, but I remember I had the book. I took the book as a 90-day devotional. And I say, okay, this is how it's going to start. I'm going to start praying. I'm going to start, you know, the first week, the first thing I left, and people always say, what, you crazy? The first thing I left, it was coffee. I was addicted to coffee. I had a tremendous problem with my adrenals. I was so fatigued that I needed to drink so much coffee in order to stay up through the day. So the first thing I say, I'm going to leave the coffee and the Diet Coke. I used to love to drink Diet Coke. In the first week, it was hell. I thought I was going to die, you know, because I started reading and researching, and it says it's like you live in addiction for heroin or for cocaine or for one of those big drugs. And I feel that way. But you know what? I was like, I can do this. And I did it. It was 1 week. The first week, I was 5 pounds down. I was like, this is very interesting. You know, I just changed those two things. So I said, what about if I start cooking at home? I started being lazy because I remember I like to order those sandwiches, you know, the ones for Jerry, that make him lose 200 pounds. I'm not going to say their name because maybe for a sponsored situation here in your podcast, but I started to order those
I am not sponsored by Subway. Let's just leave it at that.
It was so great. So I was like, I went to my kitchen, I cleaned everything out. I took all the boxes, all the cans, everything. And I say, that's it. I'm going to be in charge. So went to the supermarket, bought fruits, vegetables, proteins. I was like, okay, I think I'll be great. I start learning how to cook on my own, you know, and it went for 90 days, lose 50 pounds in 90 days.
Wow.
People that were seeing me, they were like, please tell me what to do. Share the pill that you take. And it was not a pill. It's like what I say. It was the willpower. The only willpower that you can find when you convince yourself that you want to live, that you're worth it, there is more for you. And that you have to put the word, but when you convince yourself, you compromise. Or I compromised to myself. I was like, you know, we were in this economic situation really bad that I can afford it to have a trainer, right? But I find this little gym that it was $19 a month. And they had classes all day long. So I was commit. I was in the gym. I was the first one when they opened the gym. I was doing 2-3 classes. I was cooking at home. I was like so inspired reading that book for Joel Osteen. I say to God, I will quit alcohol. I will quit everything I do bad, but I want to do this. And when those 90 days pass, I feel something inside of me because many people were asking me, how do you do? How do you do? Can you help me? Can you help me? And I was like, I developed this passion for nutrition, for fitness, for like, it feels so good to me. I was like, damn. So I came home and I said to my husband, I wanted to learn. Then you know how to do that computer stuff? That's what I told my husband because I used to write in the computer with 2 fingers.
Oh gosh.
I still, by the way, I write
That's
pretty
funny.
fast with 2 fingers. And he's like, I said, can you make me a blog or something? And he's like, well, it's Facebook. I can open you a page on Facebook. And he did me a blog. So I started writing my blog and soon enough, my page on Facebook took off. The first week I had 65,000 fans. I was like, wow. And
what year was this, Ingrid, when this was happening?
It's like 10 years ago.
Okay.
So,
yeah, because I'm like, people listening are like, what? 65,000? I started Facebook around the same time as you, a couple years maybe before. And it was very different then. It was not many people on. If you were adding value, it was easier to grow. Now, so much noise on there. It's not the same.
I remember in 3 months, I had 1 million fans.
Wow.
Which it was huge. So this is what Adelgaza 20 born. This is what my page, my movement born because it's this housewife so passionate, so convinced that she can change the world, that she can change her body and her nutrition. And she wanted to save other women like her to start share her story and the internet.
And I believe they felt that from you. And that's why they attracted to you and grew with you.
And then I decided, okay, if I'm going to be teaching people on the internet stuff, I need to learn. So I enrolled myself to study nutrition, to study to be a personal trainer. I study NLP too. And I've been studying many, many, many things through this journey. And every day we have to study more and more and more because in order to help people, this is what we have to do. But I tell you how it was my first business. My first business started. I went to this ClickBand conference, right? And we went to meet with this copywriter, and we were gonna do some copy for my husband. He was doing some payday loans, trying to survive through those times. And I sit with this copywriter and I tell him what happened to me and how did I lose all this weight and all that stuff. And he's like, that's it. You have the story. You have everything it takes. Come with me. And he put me inside and ClickBand. It was all these big info marketers. It was Mike Gary. It was Isabella de los Rios. It was all these people there like ahead of us with there's info products they were selling, and it was programs. And I was like fascinated by that. So I told my husband, that's it. We are going to do this. So it took me 1 year to write my first product. And my first product in English called Palos Fiesta. Imagine the name, Palos Fiesta. Quemando y gozando in Spanish. For that product, my husband and I, we were able to survive for 3 years. We were actually the #1 affiliates in Spanish. So we were selling everything, every single program that everybody had it in Spanish. We were making so much commissions for that. I remember one of the ones that we sell the most. It was the one, the True About Ads for Mike Gary. We were like selling that thing like it was insane.
Did you translate it to Spanish to sell it, or did they?
He had it. No, they had it.
They had it, and you were the one marketing it. Yeah. People relating to you. Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
They had it, and because we had it like 2.5 million people in our list.
Wow.
So
I think my biggest regret, Ingrid, is I had several people ask me if they could translate like 7-Day Jumpstart, which is my first product, into Spanish. And I said no because I didn't know how to market it. So I missed that opportunity for sure. Because when I met Ingrid, she said, you're big in the Spanish market. I said, I am. I had no idea. She said, people use my videos. I didn't know.
Because, like several people, they saw the opportunity to translate these great programs and they put it in Spanish. And it was affiliates like me, and they are in these days. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity that you can just sell, like when you sell the rights to somebody and they keep giving you royalties to sell your programs, right?
It's amazing.
So that's what we did for 3 years. We tried the survive, and then it was more. In this role, we start learning. I wrote my first book. It called Al Rescate de tu Nuevo Yo. It's right there.
How do you even say that? Say that in English. I don't know what that
is. One second. It comes back to me. Kickstart the new you.
Got it. Okay, I like it.
We have a copy in English. So that's my only book I wrote in English, Kickstart the New You. And so I wrote my first book, and my husband had so much skills in marketing. So we did it ourselves. I remember I sold 10,000 copies by myself.
Wow.
And because I tried to approach these, publishers in Spanish, and nobody was paying attention to me. So I was like, fine, I do it my own. And when I did it my own, and then they came to me in this process, these 8 years, I wrote already 5 books, 4 in Spanish and 1 in English. 2 of those books, they were bestsellers. De Gordita a Mamacita. It was my famous book. It was number 1 for 27 weeks in the United States, in Amazon, in Colombia, in Mexico, and Peru. And, it was a great time in my life. I was making a lot of info products. I made Bikini Body. It was one of my biggest products. It was really, really good. It was a 28-day challenge and, a program. But through this journey, I learned 2 things. In the beginning, I was so hooked up because I was the first Latina that started talking about holistic stuff. They start talking about chia seeds and superfoods and this and that. So many television programs approached me, and I was in the media all the time.
Oh, wow. I
want to tell you guys that I got for that 0 sales, 0 fans, and 0 nothing.
Isn't that crazy? Like I have that same experience. It's like people want so badly to be on traditional media, but it's what you do with it, because it does not grow like the way social media or anything else does.
I mean, I got the videos myself, and I can use it.
But it's what we do with them. It's what we do to promote those. Same thing.
Because we do the work for the media. They don't do anything for us. Sometimes I remember I did it, Natalie, in 2 years, I did a 2,500 appearance in television,
oh my goodness,
radio, newspapers, magazines. I was everywhere.
Wow. You said in 2 years, 2,500 appearances? Wow.
In 2 years.
That's a lot.
So to my, one day my husband say, darling, he said me and he said, darling, I love you. But if you're not going to take serious this business with me, I'm not going to do this anymore. You need to come to the office. You need to learn. You need to sit down. And you need to do the job. Let me show you what the television or the magazine or the stuff doing. And he come out with statistics and with numbers and with everything. He's like, this is your numbers when you do this. And here is your numbers when you do your social media. When you do your stuff.
Wow.
So the television, it was like this big, and my stuff, it was like this big.
That's incredible. Yeah. So you realize then where to focus.
So by that day, I say, okay, you know what? The most important lessons that I learned through this business is like when you are married to the love of your life and you are not aligned in the same way together. You don't have the same goals. You don't have the same dreams. That's when marriage breaks. When one is not able to understand I'm here to supporting you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to advance you because we both advance is when the marriage, breaks. And I think for us, that was very clear. My husband is the genius, the operation, the number guy, the website guy, and I'm like the But in the same point, I'm like the creator, I'm like the manager, I'm like the leader in our company, the boys. So we needed to be together in order to make it happen, and we did. We had a second thing happen to us like 4 or 5 years ago. We were on our way to War Room, one of the masterminds that we do ourselves to educate ourselves and be better. And we had a car accident on our way to Los Angeles. It was a car accident that God loving us so much because we should have been dead. My husband, it was 70 miles an hour, and some car just crossed the highway, and we hit it through the front. Our car, it was like lost, totally lost. And believe it or not, I was in the way to the airport listening to Joel Osteen. I was praying when this happened. So nothing happened to me, but my husband broke his right hand, the hand that we work with. And it's like, I was like, no. I was doing this TV show, this famous TV show, Nuestra Belleza Latina. And I was just starting the show. And I was like, no, why is this happening to us? And then, you know, going through the hospital, going through what an accident brings to your life. It's like you keep on asking God, why when I'm like getting in my feet again? Right? But there's so many in every single circumstance in our life. And I was like, I would say to my husband, to not worry about it. We're going to be okay. And, you know, it was a tough time for us because we had a team, we had a business, I had responsibilities, and it was just seeing that everything can go away in a second. Mm-hmm. And after that, I remember saying to him, okay, let's concentrate on what really is important to us. And you know, whatever, screw the television, screw whatever. Let me help you to recover. Yeah. Let me help you to get this thing going. In 2017, when I was like, I think it was like the best time of my life, my career was in the peak. I was winning so many, you know, I had so many awards and I was doing so much money in sales and all that stuff. And boom, I got diagnosed with breast cancer.
So many things in your life kept happening to you. It's just like one story after the next. And then you find out you've got breast cancer.
Yes. And this is why we believe God is so amazing, because, you know, he do things for a reason. Because I was going to Nicaragua with your husband.
Yep.
I remember watching the pictures for you that you were the year before with your daughter, and I was like, yay, I'm going to be able to make Natalie Gill. I can't wait to go, because I'm a very good friend with Jennifer, and what's his name?
Yeah, Kevin.
And Kevin. Actually, I met Kevin in that click band thing that I told you. Can you believe that? I met him and Joe Polish in that click band event. And so I was so excited because I was going to go with my daughter, Mia. Mia was like, oh my God, Mom. It was right after Halloween. She like collecting all the candies for all her friends. She's like, I was like, Mia, what is people going to think about me? I'm a nutritionist. How could we bring all this candy? And she's like, Mom, these children, they probably never try an American candy. Would you imagine their faces? So she collected. I put a public and we got a donation. I got it 72 pounds of candy to bring to Nicaragua. We collect tons of clothing and even money. I remember I went to War Room with my husband and we did this Wiki Smart thing, this contest, and we win. And, you know, they always give you like an iPad or iPhone. And I say, guys, I don't want that. I want to ask you for the money because I'm going to Nicaragua and me and Nia, I'm going to build homes. And they were like, all right, we give you. So they give it this money. So we were so excited. And actually by that time I was hired to do this big festival in Medellin, Colombia. So me and Nia, we were in my whole family, we were in Medellin Medellin. I was doing this festival and did this big conference. I had 400 people came to my conference. It was great. So we were like, okay, we come in this airplane for Colombia. We changed bags and we got in the plane to Nicaragua. So when we got to Nicaragua, we had a surprise because he was a doctor in there. And the first thing they look at is, are you been in Colombia for the past 6 months? And I was like, oh, that was hours ago in Colombia, right? And he said, oh, can I get your vaccination paper for your yellow fever? And we were like, what? I don't even know that exists, by the way, And he's like, you can't come. And we're like, what do you mean? He was like, 10 p.m. We're like, but we're here and we are doing a mission. And he's like, no, you have to stay in the airport and, we are going to send you back to Miami. You can't come inside of the country. And Mia is like crying in the minute to the airport. And I thought, wow, this is the worst thing in our life. But you know what? They actually got a little bit of compassion because she was so little and they couldn't leave you sleeping on the floor in the airport. So they put us in arrest and they arresting us.
When you told me that, I could not believe that. I'm like, how you get arrested for that? That's like so unbelievable.
But you know what? It was great because Kevin, he was outside with Jennifer. So we were able actually to give them our luggage. We were like, take it. This is
all.
Sort of stuff. Take it all. We were able to give them the money. And I say, and we're like happy. They just see them for a minute. And then we had this guy outside of our door watching us because he thought we were going to escape or something. And then the next morning, they put us right through in the airport and the airplane like we were delinquent. It was horrible. And I say, this is the worst things in my life. I can't believe this. And when I'm landing for the airplane in Miami, I receive a text message from my doctor. And he's like, I need you to come to my office. I got the results. And I was like, oh, come on, just tell me, it's my friend. And he's like, I can't tell you this through a text message. I need to see you in person. And when somebody say, I need to tell you this in person, that something is wrong. So I called my husband and said, we got to go to the doctor. And when we got there, he's like, well, you're going to be okay. What's happening to you is not that bad. You got cancer. And I was like,
wow.
He's like, but don't worry. You're going to have a surgery. They might give you chemo. They might give you radiations. They might give you like a medication for 5 years and you'll be okay. And he was talking in my mind. It was just like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I was like, why is all this happening to me? Why? I was
It's
angry.
like every time you would get caught up from one massive setback, every time you would learn the lessons from it and you were in a good place, it was like another thing.
So I went home. I closed the door. I locked myself in the room all day long. I cried all day long. I was so angry to God. I was like all day long complaining to him, right? And at the end of the day, it came this thought in my mind, and it was like, for what? And you know what? In that moment, I knew that I needed it. I cried already, and I just, cleaned my eyes, opened the door, and I say to my husband, I'm not going to be a victim. We go through to this. We'll figure it out. And you know what? And this is my time to leave with the Lord. Well, I will leave. But we will put a fight here. So we went through to almost 2.5 years. In the beginning, it was a big scandal because I refused to let these doctors cut me in pieces. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, this is in a stage 0. It's little. And people thought that I was crazy. I have videos for the media that they say, the most healthy women of the world just declared that she has cancer. Oh, her great Jesus man no serving her. And I was like, why are these people talking like that? It's like crazy. And many people, it was on me because I refused to do like the operation in the first place. I refused to do the radiation. I refused to all that stuff. I said, what? I study nutrition. I study more than 100 diets. I see that people can, reverse cancer through food, through spirituality, to holistic medicine. I'm going to go in that road. And you know what? I did it for a year. And I guess the lesson that I learned for that is I'm not always going to have the answers in my own. God sent me a clear message with one of my best friends. She's a pastor, and she called me after she knew I had a kid. She said, he wants you to go and find him in the mornings. He wants you to do what you do to go to the gym, to get your muscles. He wants you to develop this spiritual muscle with him. He wants you to go in his presence, Ingrid. I help you because I have to be honest. I was a Christian, but I was a comfortable Christian. I was donating money to the church. I was going every Sunday. I was so good what the pastor sent me, every day, these audios or whatever. But I did not know the Word of God deeply like I know now. And for me, the take that step of faith, they say, I can do this with God's help. It took a lot because I am a public figure. People that were criticizing me, people that were like pointing me with a finger, they were calling me a bad example to women. They were saying,
that must have been so devastating because here your brand was formed from your own setback and hardship and what you overcame, and you did it so 100% authentically. So I can only imagine what that would have felt like being called forth like that.
I was like, I believe in God. He gave me the promise, and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to listen. I knew that he was going to tell me through that road. And many people say, God doesn't speak to you. How do you know? Tell me about those conversations. Well, it's something deeply that people don't know. When you start reading the Word of God, that you start seeing your visions, that you start, another person can have the message through you, And in that year, I learned so much because I went vegan, first of all. I went raw vegan for a year. That was hard.
Yeah.
Super hard on me and my health. It totally, oh my God, it totally destroyed me in health weights. But I was able to actually overcome to the cancer.
That's amazing.
And I was doing all this holistic medicine. And when that year passed and I did that testing and they say the tumor actually shrinked and it's almost disappearing, I was like, released because I was exhausted to do so much holistic medicine. That was hard. It was days that I had to take 150 pills a day.
Wow.
And supplements, you got to take 14 supplements, 14 pills of this, 17 pills of this, and once. And it's like, how much pills I can take, right? And so in 2019, I was like, okay, I'm cured, I'm good. I went to see this nutritionist and she's like, you need to eat protein because the cancer is not going to kill you. The other stuff is going to kill you. So she forced me. She actually did an intervention with my husband, and they forced me to go back to have a diet with protein, with animal protein and O positive. And I believe the most I study diets, I remember studying the diet for the blood, what type of blood you have. You know what? You got to listen to those things because for real, our bodies are created in some structure that we respond different to nutrients.
Yeah.
And as soon as I started eating protein, everything, my values start going back to normal. And guess what? When you know that you are healthy, you start going back to the same stuff, to your normal life, to your bad habits. I started stressing with work. I started being like, woo. And I remember in July, I was like, always wanted to go to Joel Osteen church.
Okay.
I was 2 years prior to that visited. I was 2 years before that. I got invited. I was doing a campaign with Univision, and it was next to Joel Osteen church. So I said to my friend, "Take me to that chair. I want to know those prayers." And it was like everything, flowed so well that I got into the sanctuary, and I went in the middle and I said, "God, that one day I will be here, that I will be telling people with my testimony of giving the glory to everything you do in my life." And that year, 2019, I got an invitation to Joel Osteen Church to preach. That was my first time
incredible.
To preach. And because our God is amazing. Our God is, He doesn't take anything for granted. He gives us like above and beyond. I mean, I could have go preach in like a little tiny church, but He wanted to put me on the stage in Lakewood. And I was like, oh my God, I was like a dream come true. I went for 4 days with the Hispanic community. And the first night, I remember Pastor Gloriana Montero, which leads the Spanish church, saying, "I want you to be on the stage by yourself." And I was like, really? And I was like, and I have the videos everywhere in the internet. I remember that night, I feel so like deep the calling that God had for me that day. I did understand that day that it was not about getting women healthy. It was not about getting women with the perfect tummy, the bye-bye muffin tops, or, losing weight. It was about creating these platforms to preach the word of God, the gospel. And it was so deep because I truly understood that God was giving me the mission on nutrition, but the nutrition, the most important one, which is like, the nutritions that go inside with emotions, with your soul, the nutrition that get you close to be what He has in a purpose in life for you. And I remember that day I went on the stage and I say, "Guys, I took a test. They were going to give me my test results that Monday." And I say, "Guys, I took a test. And I have to say, is that test come positive? If I die, I'm going to die for God. If I live, I'm going to live for God. And whatever happens, if I live, if I die, my life is not mine. My life is God. God has ownership of my life." And I remember those women, they all got their hands and prayed for me. It was like the most amazing moment. And Saturday, I was leaving Saturday night to come home Sunday, and they were going to give me the results of my testing. And Monday, Joel Osteen was in vacation. But they said to him, "It's these amazing women. She's Colombian. She did this. She mentioned her in her books. And she want to meet you." That was the only thing she asked. They come and preach here. They meet you. And he took time of his time and his busy schedule. They can't meet me. And he said, the first thing he said when he looked at me, he said, "I know you're waiting for the results. I know you're going through to a situation, but God is in control." And he took my hand and he prayed for me. And when I came home, I knew whether it would be positive or negative, I knew that I was safe. And when I came Monday morning to the oncologist, and she said, "Ingrid, you had cancer again. And the cancer is twice bigger. And you need to do it now. It's now or never." She looked at me and said, "You can play to be a hero, And you can continue trying your nutrition, your holistic medicine, but you got to do that forever. And that will not guarantee that you will survive. Or you can do a double mastectomy. You can save your life and you can continue doing the purpose that God gave you. We need you. And when she said that, I was like, that was it. I was waiting for the message. So I say, okay. It was really relief that I believe that whatever happened, is that cancer come to embarrass me in front of my audience or whatever. I understand that that cancer come for made me die that August 28th when I had that surgery, and to come back and be a new woman, to reborn.
Yeah. Wow. That is so powerful, Ingrid. And gosh, it's just like, it's almost like you're being used by God to be relatable to people. It's like, I mean, that sounds funny, but like you've had so many experiences and so many things that you've been through, so many hardships and setbacks, and just the lessons you've taken from each of them and how you've showed up for other women because of it is just so powerful. I mean, you're helping so many other women cope with all these things. Experiencing any one of them in your life is huge, but you've had just multiple. But I love your whole journey and how you've learned and shaped and helped so many others from each experience.
So, so I think with that day I wake up, God gave me this blue sky. Natalie, It's beautiful. So my little eyes, everybody say, oh, every woman, they get out for this surgery. They are like for 2 or 3 days without talking. I get out, open my eyes, look at the sky, and I was like, that's it. He just gave me the victory here. I know I'm going to be okay. And I say, God, please, what can I do to serving you more? I want to spend every single day of my life serving others. Mm-hmm. Because, see, I could have died.
Yes.
And I couldn't not use any of the resources that I have in the past. But now I want to serve you every day. And it took me in a week. I was out of the bed. I was walking 3 miles with my dad. I was like, it was incredible. The process that I recovered so fast. People just like, I could believe it. She's so good. And I had at that time that my dad came to visit him. My dad is a pastor. I don't even know that he was a pastor. And he sits with me and he started teaching me the Bible. And I was like, just amazed how God, it was like, guiding me through that moment. And my dad said, what I don't do with my life, I know you will continue. And I was like, this is it. I need to start learning. I need to start studying theology. If I'm going to preach the word of God, I need to know how to do it. So I enrolled myself. I'm doing a doctor's degree, a PhD in theology now.
I love that.
I want to preach the word of God. And I'm doing actually functional medicine coaching because I want to learn how to coach people better through disease, to chronic disease. I want to have the tools to help them, not just with, I drink this or take this. No, I want to help them with positive psychology. I want to help them to find the answers, the root cause of their disease, and helping them through a journey that I can take them by hand, pray for them, give them everything they need in every aspect of their life. And I every day say to God, we work together you need me.
And you're doing all of this. And what's so incredible is she does it, you all, while making really funny videos. So you crack me up on social media. It reminds me of Tela Novato. Am I saying that right? When I watch your videos, she's so funny. You're so creative. Oh my gosh.
Because you know what? This is it.
Yeah.
We want to live every day with potential, with happiness. We have to relax. We gotta let it go.
No, you dressed up as Kale last week. I saw your video. She was dressed up as Kale, like actually Kale. I didn't even know what you were saying because it was all in Spanish. But I watched you slap the sandwich or whatever out of the girl's hand. It was hysterical.
I am super green and I'm here to say the word for the bad foods. Yes. So I said, I look into a victim. Oh, no, fuck.
So silly. She's so funny. She's got several accounts. I'm going to put all the links in the show notes. But whether you speak Spanish or you don't, you understand her. so they're hysterical. But she's got an English page too, she's got a huge following everywhere. Everyone needs a little Ingrid in their life. She's fabulous. I am so excited for everything you're stepping into, everything that you've created. I'm excited that I've gotten to know you. I consider you one of my good friends, and I feel like I've known you for all these years, and I can't even believe I just met you not that long ago. So everyone follow Ingrid so much, and thank you for sharing your whole journey today here.
Thank you for having me. And, it's so many other things that I can teach you ladies too. I'm pretty good at business too.
She's pretty darn good at a lot. Yes.
but thank you for inviting me. It's been an honor to meeting you. Like I told you the first day I met you, it was a dream come true. It's been like, I've been following you for years and I'd always I need to know this girl. I need to get to her. And you know what? God just made it happen.
I love it.
When I got to that meeting, I saw you, I was like, that made my trip. So thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for making these spaces to us for come here, for being vulnerable, for tell our stories. And I hope my story is you listen to this story and you believe that you cannot create something that the God forgot about you. I'm here to tell you that He loves you, that He's there for you, and that He only asks you to have a little bit of faith. A little bit of trust on Him, and because before He created you, before He putting you in the womb of your mother, He already gave you the talents, He already gave you the purpose, and He already gave you the tools for you to succeed. So you just have to keep going and have faith and believe that you can do this and that you can walk in the purpose that He has for you in life.
So good. Thank you so much, Ingrid. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen in as my guest today. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with friends and on social media. I don't advertise this show, so I rely on word of mouth and reviews to get it out in the world. The biggest thank you that you can give me is leaving me a review, and a nice one, I hope, by the way. This is how others find these episodes. If you do leave me a review, be sure to message me at support@nataliejillfitness.com with a screenshot of your review, because I would love to send you a free digital download of my DSR journal as a thank you. And please don't forget to connect with me on social media at Natalie Jill Fit on Instagram and Facebook.